Ms. Sherman, I'm grateful to see you here and very excited to support your nomination on the floor of the Senate. You and I talked a lot about the Horn of Africa and some of the challenges we see going on within Ethiopia that are really painful and discouraging. Amnesty International said over the weekend, and CNN's reported, that there have been many massacres by Eritrean forces, killed hundreds of civilians in the Tigray region of Ethiopia. It's really a point that I think we are at the level of a major humanitarian crisis affecting millions of people, that there's a famine possibilities and more, and I know you're aware of it. I really did appreciate Secretary Blinken's receptiveness to appointing a special envoy to the Horn of Africa in a statement last week, and I really do hope that we move forward in that direction. But the government of Ethiopia continues to deny that there's even ongoing fighting there, and this puts us in a difficult situation. They're even putting out a lot of misinformation that makes it hard to understand what's happening. And so understanding that the U.S.-Ethiopia relationship is important, as we know, could you just maybe give some more, publicly in this hearing, some more thoughts on how you would engage Prime Minister Abiy to cease hostilities and ensure that humanitarian access is in the region, and how we create a better governmental accountability?
Thank you very much, Senator, and thank you for your concern about the Horn of Africa and about what is happening in Ethiopia, which is quite horrifying. Secretary Blinken, is my understanding, spoke to the Prime Minister yesterday and made it very clear that we expect him to ensure humanitarian access. He had said that he would, but the Secretary wanted to make sure that he understood that there would be consequences if he did not. That he has responsibility for ensuring peace in the Tigray region of Ethiopia, that Eritrean troops should leave and others who are not helpful actors should not be in the region. I think we will have to follow this up, working with our diplomatic presence in Ethiopia to ensure that humanitarian access continues, that this conflict ends, and the Ethiopian Prime Minister understands that the United States is not only watching, but we will take action. And I'm very grateful as a citizen, as a person who cares about the rights of people around the world, that Secretary Blinken was so forthright yesterday with the Prime Minister.
I'm really grateful. Can we shift to Libya and Somalia as well, another really difficult area of conflict? And we can see that there is more and more of an internationalized conflict going on there, with more countries being involved. Libya, UAE, Russia, Turkey have all fueled this conflict that I believe is another strike point on the continent. In Somalia, you see these other groups that are pursuing really their own interests that are really to the detriment of Somali's sort of a government and federalized system. And so could you maybe give some insights on what you'll do to address the issues of foreign interference in a situation that is really fragile and could destabilize even more, and how you'll help the regional bureaus of the State Department cross between their silos, because that's the challenge you have, Near East and Africa bureaus that I'm a little concerned about, that structurally we're not really organizationally prepared for the conflict that we're seeing there.
Thank you, Senator. On Libya, I actually have a small sliver of hope, given the pending elections and the peace process that has begun in Libya. It is very fragile, as you say, led by the Europeans. And yes, I agree with you. There are lots of it. It became a proxy place and for conflict, and that those who represent those proxies should be out of Libya and let the Libyan people decide their own future. I was in Libya right at the point where Hadi was about to run as the only presidential candidate. It was fragile then. It remains fragile now. And I'm sorry, Hadi is Yemen. Long in the process here. I apologize. But I was in Libya at the point of the conflict. and before we had to shut down our embassy in Libya. So I hope that there is a chance for peace in Libya, led by Europe with our support. In terms of Somalia, which I also visited when I was Undersecretary for Political Affairs, and I thought we were on the road to a better future for the Somali people. It's clearly gone backwards in just terrible ways. And so I think we have to engage across bureaus, as you suggest, to make sure that we bring all of our resources to bear. I know that our ambassador to the UN will also play a role both in the Libya and the Somalia circumstances. And I don't know whether my colleague has something he wants to add on sort of how we are organized to become a better matrix organization and less siloed.
I appreciate you opening the door to Mr. McKeon, and maybe I'll turn to him. I had this incredible couple paragraphs written here, really knowing you're a Notre Dame graduate, sort of reminding you of my exploits as a football player against your school and defeating them soundly. But I'm going to skip all.
After we talked the other day, I watched the video of you making that catch and avoiding tackle from an all-star NFL star. So
I appreciate you saying that because my chairman, I'm not sure if he even knows that.
I texted some friends, and they were just wondering how you got away from Lou Holtz.
Yeah,
so they would like to hear the story.
The chairman recognizes that the junior senator from New Jersey exceeds in everything. So
Thank you very much. I'm actually going to just ask you, I just want to maybe say it on the record, you were so gracious, but I have a lot of concerns about diversity, paid internships. I'm going to introduce a bill today about paid internships in the State Department, because that's just an issue to me that has always troubled me as I've traveled around the world, to seeing our State Department, these amazing, heroic frontline folks, but they don't really reflect the diversity of our country. And I just would love to just maybe get, in the 5-10 seconds I have left, maybe some thoughts from you on that effort.
Yes, thank you. As I said to you the other day, the department has scraped together a few $1 million to start paying interns. It's not for the entire program. And it appears, like I need to dig into it some more, we might need some legislative authority to facilitate this in addition to the resources. So we will come back to you and look forward to working with you on this legislation.
I look forward to supporting you as well on the Senate floor, and thank you both for your extraordinary service to our nation.
thank you, Senator Booker. So the chair will reclaim his time, and we appreciate that you have been through a rather 2.5 hours without relief. So we will try not to make this too prolonged.